Hi there, it's Jason here from Pineapple Bytes, and if you are watching this video, you are most likely a Canadian Aloha user trying to figure out how to implement the recently announced HST Amnesty. In some cases, this is going to be reasonably simple, but for others, there are going to be some changes that need to be made ahead of the December launch. For those who do not sell spirits or merchandise, you should be able to go into your system, change your HST or GST rate to zero, perform a refresh in the morning, and be good to go. If you're a bar or lounge with no food, beer, wine, or coolers, you may have nothing to change as spirits are excluded from this exemption. For most, however, you're going to need to create a second tax group for the excluded items to target the exemption correctly and to stay out of trouble with the taxman. Which one of these are you? I do not know. You should ask an accountant. I am not an accountant, but I am an experienced Aloha programmer and trainer. You shouldn't trust me to work on your car, your home's electrical, or manage your business's finances. So let's get started. For those whose offerings are all excluded, you'll want to log into your Aloha Manager, go to Maintenance Taxes Tax Type, change your HST or GST rate to zero, save your change, refresh, and you're done. When the program ends next year, go back into Maintenance Taxes and Tax Type, change your rate back, save the record, refresh again, and you're back to normal. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching. For those with a mix of offerings, there's some more work to do ahead of the program's launch, and I apologize, I recognize this is a busy time of year. I mentioned you'll need to separate your offerings into two tax groups. This is not hard, but depending on the state of your system and your categories could be quite tedious. Let's do the easy part first. We're going to go to Maintenance, Taxes, and Tax Groups and do a little spot check to see how many you have set up. Most likely you have an HST grouping and a no tax grouping. In more sophisticated setups, where you are charging bottle deposits or you have both PST or GST, you may see more. For this video, I'm going to focus on a two-group setup. If you have more, repeat the steps for each group that you need to isolate. For simplicity, and so we can undo this in February, let's rename this tax group to HST Default. Save that record and make a copy. It should be identical to our other one. Let's call this HST Always because items associated to it will always have the HST GST. Save this record as well. While we're here, let's follow the link to the tax type and see if we have a no tax option. If not, we're going to make a copy of the HST, rename it to no tax, change its value to 0, and save this record. We aren't going to be needing this until the program begins. Now on to the tedious part. We need to go to all our excluded items and change their tax group to our newly created HST Always group. There is more than one way to do this, and the way you choose will depend on the number of items you need to change and the way your items are categorized and ordered in your database. If you only have a few items, I would say just follow the links from your submenu or search for them and swap the tax group using the drop-down box. If you have many, and they are in distinct sales categories like liquor or retail, you'll want to flip to grid view. From here, you can use a filter option to hide items in categories you do not need to change. Then scroll to the right, drag the tax group column over where you can see both the items' names and categories. And from here, using the Shift key, you can select multiple records and change them all at once. If, for whatever reason, you have your items categorized in a way that groups spirits with other items, say you prefer only seeing food and drinks in your sales reports, you could be a little bit bummed out right now. You'll just need to do some searching, though, to create the correct records. If you plan to tackle this job over a couple days, you can add a second filter in here to hide the HST Always records and show only HST Default. This step is incredibly important to complete ahead of the launch of the program, as it will be the most time-consuming. With this step complete on the day the program starts, you'll just need to go to your tax group HST Default, flip the primary tax from HST to the no tax we created earlier, and you're good to go until February. When the program ends, come back to tax groups, flip that primary tax back to HST from no tax, do a refresh, and you should be all good. I hope you find this video helpful, enjoy the holidays, and we'll see you all back next year.